Alrighty, today we're going to make a butterball turkey, and I'm going to try to rip right through this very quickly. This is not an easy thing. It's you have to have some knife skills, some basic knife skills. One of the things you want to do is you want to cut. We're going to make a roll out of the breast. And we're going to disconnect the legs. We're going to bone out the thigh. We'll save the drumstick for something else. We're going to bone out the thigh. But we want to save as much of the skin as possible for the breast. So I'm going to cut this close to the leg as possible. Flip it over, get the knife under there. Now this piece of meat right here is referred to as the oyster. So you're going to cut there, see where my knife's going. Then dislocate the leg. Just you're following the carcass. Remove get as much of that leg meat off as possible. Same thing with the other side. Cut close to the leg, up and around into the oyster. At this point, just simply break it back. Now this is where it gets a little bit difficult. We're going to start here. You want to bring the knife down, and if it's the first time for you, just take it slow and just follow the carcass. The rib cage is going to come around like this. So you just kind of want to feel it with your knife. Now the benefits of making a turkey roll. I used to do this when I was in high school. I worked for the University of Vermont doing institutional food. And we would have to do sometimes 30 or 40 of these, feeding hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hungry college kids. And there's a couple benefits of this. First off, you know, when we could put this right on a meat slicer and slice it to order for the kids. The other benefit of this is that now you're going to have all these bones, this carcass, to prepare a stock. And that stock can be used for your gravy, for the stuffing that you're making. Or making soup with the leftovers. Here's something that I didn't. A lot of the time, I leave these wing bones on when I'm doing a French cut breast or something like that. With the turkey roll, you're not going to have those left on, so we're going to remove these as well. Yeah, now I've got a bit of practice with this. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was a teenager. If it's your first time, just take it slow and let your knife do the work. Follow the carcass, follow the bone structure. Now, again, this is a tricky part here. So you don't want to break that skin. That skin is what's going to keep everything in. And as I mentioned, we're doing my version of a butterball turkey. I'm going to stuff this, literally stuff it with butter. Good Vermont Cabot butter. There is no other butter. Okay. Now, so here we have skin intact. We want to clean it up a little bit. Sometimes there'll be excess fat here, which this seems pretty lean. You don't need all this here. Now the fat as well, I like the fat in the stock. We're going to make the stock, the fat will rise to the top, and I reserve that fat for typically for my stuffing. I saute the vegetables in that turkey fat. It just gives it more delicious turkey flavor. But you want to remove any of the sinewy, these tendons that are located on each tenderloin. Anything that just looks anything other than lean meat. Okay, that's our turkey breast. Now we're going to take care of the thighs. I'm going to separate the drumstick from the thigh. I'm going to remove the skin from the thigh. And then remove the thigh bone. Again, look for any kind of excess sinew, fat. Sometimes right here, you have those tendons right here. The drumstick you're not going to be able to bone out. That is, as you know, it's very, has a lot of tendons running through it. Tomorrow when we cook the turkey, I'll show you what I do. Typically I'll put the turkey in the oven, roast it for a bit, we'll baste it during the roasting period, and halfway through the roasting period, I'll add the legs into the same pan, and when the turkey's finished, the legs typically are finished at the same time. We'll go over all the roasting process tomorrow and the slicing process. My sister tells me when I do these videos not to have any dead time. I don't know what else to chat about while we're doing this. This obviously is not Thanksgiving material. You need that whole turkey, that showpiece for the center of the table, and Dad cutting the turkey. It's not quite as romantic with a turkey roll. Okay. Now, I'm hoping the camera's getting all this. I'm lifting up the turkey tenderloin. This piece of meat right here, that's the tenderloin. I like to stick a chunk of butter right underneath the tenderloin. This right here is a 1/4 pound of butter. And I think that's probably a good amount for this size bird. And I'm not even sure what size bird this is, but I'm going to guess 15, 16 pounds. Stick a couple pieces of butter right there. And I'm going to season the inside of it. So the turkey's going to be basting from the inside. It's also, you got that seasoning on the inside. Lightly season. The thighs as well. Now the thigh, you're going to have a thin piece and a thicker piece. I put the thicker pieces on either end, and then the thin pieces will overlap in the middle. Again, butter. All right. Now we're going to roll it over. And I'm going to position the heavier side, the fatter side, away from me. The only thing we got left now is just tie it. It really is quite simple. We're going to do a slip knot. I hope I get this right. Sometimes I mess it up. Secure it. And this is not a big turkey. I'm just going to do 2. 1, 2. As you can see, and there you have Jeff's Butterball Turkey. All this will go into the stock pot. We're going to cover it with water, bring it to a boil. You're going to get some foam and residue that'll come to the top initially as it comes to a boil. Skim that off. That's very important. Get rid of all that scum that floats to the top. Turn it down to a simmer. And you're going to let it go for probably 2 hours, and you'll have a beautiful, rich turkey stock. Don't cover it with too much water, otherwise you'll have a weak turkey stock. You want a very strong stock, which will be beautiful for your gravy, for your stuffing, or for soup the next with the leftovers, or as my father used to love, turkey tetrazzini. Okay, bon appetit. Tomorrow we'll continue with the roast turkey. Okay, I lied. 130 seems to be the magic number. We'll bring it up to 130, and then we're just going to let this, I put the turkey legs in at 45 minutes. We're now at 1 hour and a half. Came up to 130 degrees. We're going to let it rest for 30 minutes, and then we'll slice into it, see what we got. Okay, so as you can see, this turkey's been resting now for 30 minutes. We pulled it out of the oven at 130 degrees, and we're now at 155, and that is a perfect temperature, and should be nice and juicy on the inside. Let's find out. Now you can also see you got that thigh meat, in the middle of your roast here. Nice and juicy.